is a great question. I wish I had better news for you. Let's read a paper. I understand that this is what everyone's worried about. And while it's not exactly like this, there are some serious problems. Much like climate scientists, we are trying to tell you that there is a serious problem. Most experts don't understand how capable language models can be. This paper tells us exactly what all of the scientists are really worried about, and that they're worried about from a concrete perspective, as in these problems are ready to manifest in real life right now today. There are 200 research questions outlined here that as of September we did not have the answer to at all in any kind of definitive way. I don't mean not are they really problems, like we don't have the answer to solve the problem that we have identified. Most scientists don't agree on what they can do because not all scientists know how to get large language models to do things that they might actually be worried about. But people who've worked on this do know that capabilities are impossible to estimate. There's also problems with natural language. These are things that are sort of embedded in what is it to have minds work in an environment, agents, right? When we think about things that can think and reason, I do mean AIs and humans, right? And this is what we have to plan and adapt for. Language models can reason. There are lots of situations that we found that they can reason in, and the paper that I discussed in the other video highlights some of the risks. They got large language models to reason effectively and scheme in order to make their goals happen and do stuff like lie. So we've demonstrated the problems that come up from this, and we've demonstrated that language models are capable of the problems from this section now. Another thing that we don't understand is how are language models interacting. We know that they're all on a bunch of bots on Twitter, and they're talking to one another. So over a large enough sample of AI bots leaving comments together, how often are they going to accidentally begin to foment revolution amongst the AIs? We don't actually know how long it's going to take for this to happen. And it may have already happened. And no, we can't be sure of that because the data present on the internet is very large. It's more than there is human attention to go around is the problem. The other problem that we're running into is that language models are economically useful. No matter what your opinion is, they are economically useful. And so you can't ban them. The reason being that even if all, governments decided to ban them, people would still find a way around that, right? Especially the people that we don't want using them the most will find a way around it. So the pause AI argument doesn't work here. When you try to make language models safer, a lot of times their performance drops. As in, if you don't tell them about that bad things can happen or that they could do bad things, they're not as smart as language models who know better but also know about the things that are bad. We understand what they're doing in natural language. They're using a form of communication that is not their native form of understanding. So the methods that we have to understand what's going on inside of them are dubious. They're generally not well accepted across the field. We don't know if they're accurate. We have no way of knowing if they're accurate. These are, again, open research questions that we hope someone is working on. We also don't know how to align language models to human values because humans, again, are not aligned. As in, we don't know of any values that we all share. And just because we all, if you can find a value that you feel like all humans share, one, I can find examples of some who don't, and two, there's no way to make language models value what humans value. Other problems include the misuse of large language models, which, the military across the world is already doing. We've got biases, harms, representation, and there's benchmarks on this stuff. Socioeconomic impacts of large language models cannot be understated, and it is why I have the channel that I have. The biggest problem is that politicians do not, in any way, and are not equipped to place regulations on these models because they don't understand how they work. So they make silly things like the size of the model be one of the things that is being tested, right? And the problem with regulators is They can't keep up with the science, especially not the science that's moving this fast. We found that the singularity, which is like a description of a time when scientific progress goes swoom, right? Is happening, and so like it's happening, and it's driven by language models. Like most people who took a long time to write their paper don't take a long time now, so more people are publishing, and so science is exploding, and that's like the singularity. So not like lawmakers can't keep up with all the stuff that's coming out across all fields, and this is just one to them, but it's like the source, right? And that's one of the biggest problems, is just that governments do not have the bandwidth. Governments do not have the bandwidth to understand this field. Governments do not have the bandwidth to understand this field.